All right, welcome back everyone to LFR, to Formula 4 for the fourth round of the Season 1 Championship, and we're here at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza circuit here in Milan, Italy, or as the locals call it, Milano, Italia, as we're here for the Italian Grand Prix here at the traditional fastest track on the calendar, Monza. All right, so let's talk about this track before we get into the Grand Prix here today. So we're at the second shortest track in the Formula 1 calendar in terms of turns, the first being the Austrian Grand Prix with 10. This track has 11 turns, the final one being Parabolica at the final turn, at turn 11. There's also a circuit length of 5.7 kilometers, that's 3.6 miles long, and 2 DRS zones to help encourage overtaking. And as I did mention briefly, this track is one of the fastest circuits on the Formula 1 calendar, so we're going to see speeds up to around 215 miles per hour down the front stretch down to the heavy braking zone at turn 1. So as I did mention, we're here at LFR for round 4 of the Italian Grand Prix here at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. I'm Formula Jonah, your commentator once again for the Formula 4 coverage of the LFR event. So we have a few drivers out on track currently. Let's ride on board with the driver who's fastest into turn 1. It's Yo-Yo in the Toyota. Now this is a very difficult corner to get completely right. It looks like the Toyota car didn't get a very good exit off of turn 2. That's quite alright. As you come down to Curve Grande, this is a very difficult corner, as well as you want to make sure you hug the inside as much as possible into the second chicane, this is, of turn 4. One of the most difficult corners on the entire track, in my opinion, because you don't want to hit that curb on the inside there. It can send you off and spin you completely into into turn 5 and turn 6, down into another heavy braking zone. A little bit of a dab on the throttle, actually. It's not a huge heavy braking zone. So we come down into the second DRS, into Ascari, we're coming up to. A very difficult place to make an overtake. You want to get the overtaking done as soon as possible before you enter turn 8, turn 9, and turn 10 into these 3 corners, and you don't want to come on the power too much out of Ascari because you can spin the car, and of course that can ruin your Grand Prix. Down into Parabolica, the final turn, turn 11. It's kind of like a hairpin, but it's pretty open. As you rotate the car to the left, the car's going to pull off. Its Yo-Yo goes a little bit wiggly on the off of turn 11, but it is going to be Tim in the Toyota, the new Toyota driver that is going to start on pole position for the race here today, our sprint race that we're about to have. And Toyota will start on pole with the driver we're right on board with, Yo-Yo, down in P10. But yeah, that was a quick lap of the Italian Grand Prix. It is a very unique circuit, a lot of difficult corners around this track, especially the chicane at turn 4, and then also Ascari chicane. That is another very difficult corner to get completely right. But it is Tim, the new Toyota driver, that starts on pole position as we head into the 25% sprint qualifying. He qualified with a 1:20.810. And we got Kingsholm in the Ford starting P3 with Lewis in the Bentley starting P3. So Kingsholm starting second. Can he try and challenge Tim down to turn 1? We will find out when we get to that. The Bentleys are looking strong as number 1 fan is in P5, so Dazzy will look to get a good result as well. Shug's Life in the Ford starting P6. Let's see what he can do. And by the way, before we get into the race itself, I just want to mention that we are going back to the reverse grid qualifying. So for today, all the drivers that really finish in P1 and all that sort of thing, so whoever finishes in first in the sprint qualifying, they'll start at the very back of the grid unless drivers retire in the pit lane. And if they do retire in the pit lane, they will start exactly where they are. So we're reverse grid for the entire grid except those who retire in the pit lane. And so we're ready to get the race underway. We got 22 seconds remaining of this loading screen. And as you can see on our screen, we have rain. So we are going to get some rain in this sprint qualifying, which is going to be mixing some things up, which is going to bring in a little bit more of a spicy qualifying session, or as it's called, qualifying. It's actually a race. So yeah, that's that. So I think we're ready to go as we get the racing underway. So let's see, as the 5 red lights are about to go out. No, actually, we're having a formation lap. I forgot about that. I forgot there was a formation lap to these 13 laps of the sprint qualifying here today, but that's quite all right. All right, so we got 20 drivers on the grid. Tim is on pole position with Kingsome in P2. It's Lewis P3 for the Bentley team. Alongside him is Big Weir in the Bentley starting P4. Dazzy number 1 fan is P5 alongside Shugs Life in the second Ford, lining up on the third row of the grid. Cass in the Porsche is starting P7 with Court in P8 for Ford, with Walter in P9 for the Bentley team, lining up alongside Yo-Yo, who we're riding on board with in that one-shot qualifying. And then we got the Monster Energy cars all lining up, P11, P12, P13, and P14, with Liam, Boosted, Mr. Basil, and Snooker rounding off that little sets of grid. So Monster Energy will look to get a good result and kind of push themselves up there since they're all kind of in the same position on the track. Then we got Flea in P15 alongside his teammate Milan in the fourth Porsche, if I'm not mistaken. It's actually the third or fourth Porsche. I couldn't tell exactly where the other Porsche was. I think it is the third Porsche. Yes, it is the third Porsche. And then we got Crossfire, the new Ford driver. Let's see what he can do. He was very fast in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix that we had last time out. But this is a very difficult track, or a very different track to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And then we got Brad in Toyota starting P18 with Nem and Blades rounding off the 20 drivers as we head into the 13 laps of the 25% sprint race here today. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe to see more LFR content, especially on this division, as it is very, very exciting. We have just broken in to this championship, and still we have many more rounds to go. LFR also does Mondays and Tuesdays streams, so definitely subscribe to see more content like this. And also, if you want to check out all the stuff I do on social media, also subscribe to my channel as well. Formula Jonah is the name of that. And if you're enjoying the commentary so far, smash the like button and send in some comments, maybe some predictions for the 25% race or the 50% race, which we'll get in a little bit of time. Or just if you have any questions about the LFR grid, or have any questions about, I don't know, just the Italian Grand Prix, let me know if you guys have any of that sort of thing. So anyway, it looks like everyone's ready to go. The formation lap is ended. We're ready to get the 13 laps underway for the 25% sprint race. As we head into the Italian Grand Prix, it is going to be a very exciting one. Tim currently lines up on pole position. And remember, whoever finishes in first will start at the back of the grid. So that's kind of how that works, as a reverse grid. And drivers in this race will be scoring points as well. The top 10 will all be scoring the normal 25, 18, 15 points. Same scoring format as the normal Formula 1 grid. As we are ready to get the racing underway, the formation lap is over. The 5 red lights are about to go out. It's 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And it's lights out, and away we go here in Monza. It's a really good start for the front two. Not a great start for the two Bentleys. Everyone's trying to get off the line. Pretty good. Kingsome didn't have the greatest start as he got too much on the power. It looks like down to 5th position as Dazzy and Lewis are side by side. Everyone goes wide at turn 1. Everyone goes wide there. The first 2 drivers are off the track. A Porsche is off the track as well. That's a Ford. I think that's Kingsome and Milan, if I'm not mistaken. Everyone's trying to get on the power just very cautiously, as this is a very difficult part of the race, as here comes Dazzy trying to make a move on Tim already, as a virtual safety car has now been called out, which is going to halt the race for the moment. And I do believe that is because Kingsome and Flea have had some sort of incident at turn 1 and 2. Also, Brad didn't get away either. It looks like he's at the start of the grid. What happened to the Toyota driver? But a little bit of chaos going on as some of the drivers were off the track at turn 1 trying to get the braking all situated, because this is a very difficult braking zone, especially in the rain conditions. At turn 1, it can be very, very difficult. So a lot of changes has happened. Virtual safety car is now out on track as we enter Ascari chicane, as the drivers will be getting the racing underway probably as we head into the second lap of the race. And also, by the way, since this is the rain race, we probably won't see any pit stops since it's only 13 laps and these intermediates can go pretty long. So we probably won't see any pit stops, and there's no need to pit, as the game allows anyone to stay out. As it looks like the virtual safety car should be ending. I wish we had a timer for that. That would be awesome if we got that. Like, or just it said virtual safety car ending. As now virtual safety car is ending. The front 2 get away well. Dazzy trying to make the move on Tim, as that is Milan out of the race. What happened there? Oh my goodness. Milan was right in the middle of the track. Flea almost ran into the back of him. Thank goodness he didn't go into the back of him. That was very, very close. Oh, a few cars off the track. That's Liam. And I think a Toyota of Yo-Yo, or that might be Blades. I think that might be Yo-Yo and Liam off the track. Drivers are really struggling to come onto the power in these very difficult conditions, as there goes Nem, the driver that got a podium in Spain just 2 races ago. But meanwhile, it looks like a few drivers are out of the Grand Prix already, which is unfortunate. Brad disqualified from the session. And it looks like Milan and Keensom are also out of the race as well. Meanwhile, a battle for 9th is forming right here as Boosted, Nem, and Blades are having a great battle here. Blades got a really good exit. Boosted did not. And he's going to maybe try and make the move as Crossfire and Walter side by side as well. Looks like Walter's going to send it a little bit too much. Not enough room there. Cross defended the inside line. Walter went for it, but there wasn't enough space, so he had to back out of that one. Overtaking into certain corners, especially into heavy braking zones, it is very difficult. As Flea is out of the race. That is the Porsche driver out of the Grand Prix, and that is the second virtual safety car that has been called out once again. As the Porsche driver is out of the race, the second Porsche is out, showing that this track is not improving in terms of the weather. All out there, you can see Flea's stricken Porsche out on track. As that scurry chicane is very difficult in the dry, it can also be very difficult in the wet. So the rain is coming down. We are 3 laps into this. 10 laps remaining of the sprint qualifying here. Dazzy, number 1 fan, and Tim still leading us away. 1.3 seconds separating the 2 drivers, but that will be different once the VSC is ending. Maybe giving the advantage to Dazzy or giving the advantage to Tim. We do not know. By the way, Tim has been confirmed as a Toyota driver. If you're wondering, you probably have not seen him in the division so far. He has not actually been in the division, if I'm not mistaken. Unless I missed something, but I don't think I did. So he is making his debut today with Toyota. And if you're not sure who Tim is, well, Tim is a driver from the F1 divisions, the normal, like Ferraris, Mercedes, all that normal F1 2021 divisions from Mondays and Tuesdays. I commented on him in Tuesday last season. He was a very quick driver, was battling with Rabbi for the championship, if I'm not mistaken, in Tuesday. And now he joins as a Toyota driver here in Formula 4 on Thursday. So great to see that as well. But Tim will lead us away with a 1.6 second gap to Dazzy, number 1 fan. Lewis in the Bentley, 3 seconds behind his teammate. And Court starting to chase after Lewis as well. The Fords need to score some good points in this race. They did not have the greatest race, I would say, in Azerbaijan. Not a lot of people had the greatest day in Azerbaijan, as it was a very interesting Grand Prix in terms of a lot of drivers like hitting the wall and stuff like that. That's just normal, though. Azerbaijan always has that sort of thing, since it is a very unique track in its way of being very close together in terms of the walls and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, that's that way. But Ford did not have the greatest race in Azerbaijan. They scored some points, but not the best amount of points that they would want. So I think here in Italy, they'll look to get a good result. Crossfire joins them as an official Ford driver. Great to see him on the team. And unfortunately, Keensom is out of the Grand Prix, but most of the Ford drivers are in the top 7. All 3 of them are in the top 7, which is great to see. And meanwhile, Crossfire is looking to make the move on Shug's Life. I wonder if there's going to be some team orders for the Ford team here today. We don't know exactly, but we'll find out in a bit. So meanwhile, Tim leads us away on lap 4. Not a lot of action, especially since the rain is coming down. There's not a ton of overtaking. DRS enabled and not really an opportunity race. He slows that car down perfectly. That Toyota running really nicely with that beautiful red livery here. It really shines here in Italy. And Tim looking to go into turn 3, looking pretty strong. And is there any battles we're seeing on track? I think Walter is trying to make a move on Nem. Let's catch up to that and see what's going on. Nem is not getting the best of exit out of that particular section as Blades left the session. He's in P10. Hopefully he rejoins. Looks like a malfunction with maybe internet or something like that. Not exactly sure, but that's that. So hopefully he gets back into the session. Nem and Walter continuing their battle. Walter for Bentley in P9, Nem in P8. Ooh, Walter almost lost the car as Cross and Shug's Life swap positions. That looks to be Team Orders. I catch the last part of it, or Shug's Life is just trying to get on the power. Maybe made a mistake earlier on. Yellow flag as that is cast off the track at turn 2. Exit of that particular corner. A lot of corners here where you can the problem with this track, guys, especially in the rain, is that there's a lot of traction zones because coming on the power is got to be perfect. Because these drivers are having to come on the power so cautiously due to the rain, and what they're having to do is short shift. And they're not really used to that because in the dry, there's not a ton of that. I mean, unless you're running, maybe you're having difficulty with traction control, and you're having to kind of like move around that and trying to just to try and come on the power gingerly. I don't really know how to explain that, but yeah, this track is quite interesting in terms of the drivers coming on the power. We'll witness it right here with Shug's Life. He's got to make sure he short shifts in these wet conditions. He didn't really short shift a ton there, but it seemed to work out. So that's good. But yeah, it looks like everyone right now is kind of in a position where they can't really make any overtakes. There's not a ton of overtaking going on. I think Yo-Yo's actually trying to make an overtake on Boosted as I say that. And Crossfire and Big Weir swap positions as that Shug's Life off the track. Another traction zone, it seems. As he's going to come back on track with a Ford. He's in the middle of the track as Tim has just gotten a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That is the second time penalty we've seen today, as Cass has also got a penalty as well. But Tim has got that gap to Dazzy. If he gets another penalty, though, he could be at risk at losing P1 in today's race. Meanwhile, Yo-Yo and Blades look to be swapping positions. Blades is not in the session, so Yo-Yo should have a pretty good overtake, but Blades AI really defending that line as he breaks very early into that section. The AI really don't break great in the wet conditions. It is very interesting. They break really soon. And I think that's where the game wants you to be. It wants you to be breaking really soon, but oh, Shug's Life off the track. At that's the exit of Ascari at turn 10. Unfortunately, he is off the track, and he's going to come back on track, but yeah, I wonder if he's got any damage from that spin he had a little bit earlier, or it doesn't look like it. As Boosted comes into the pit lane in that beautiful green Monster Energy car. And he's going to come into the pit lane as that is Nem off the track. Another driver possibly spinning out at the exit of turn 2. Another section of the track where you can spin off very easily. It is a very difficult corner to get right, guys. You got to short shift as fast as possible. That is the key in this particular conditions out on track. As we enter pretty much the halfway mark of the sprint race, and then we're going to get into the official 50% race. And if you guys know anything about like the conditions for the rain or for the races in at the 50% race, let me know down in the comments below. Unfortunately, I do not get that information on my screen because the game unfortunately doesn't allow that, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that is the way it goes. So if you guys do know any information on the weather for the 50% race, let me know down in the comments below. That would be much appreciated. So moving on, it looks like the Bentleys are having a great race. Dazzy and Lewis in P2 and P3, Big Weir and Walter in P6 and P7. All the Bentleys in the top 7, which is great to see. They have really been on a roll for the past couple of races now. And they have been flying out there. And even if Tim grabs another penalty, I think he should be okay to still take the win here at the 25% sprint qualifying. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, Tim in the Toyota looking still strong. He's flying through the field right now. But besides the onboards, we don't have a lot of action going on track, and I think that's just down to the rain now. We're not seeing a ton of action on the track here in Italy, but we definitely will get some in the 50% race. I have no doubt about that. And I've heard it could be dry as well, so that could be good as well. That will give some action in the overtaking. We'll get some DRS. Oh, Tim almost losing the car there. He's just having to make sure he cautiously comes on the power. Thankfully, he was okay out of that particular section, and we'll continue on. Alright, so we got the two Fords having a nice battle as well. Crossfire making his way through the field. While these conditions are very difficult, he is making the time up and trying to catch back up and get some good points today. So he's going to try and make the move on his teammate. Don't think there's going to be any team orders here because they're basically battling for position. I don't know if there's going to be anything that's changing, but Crossfire has got some serious speed out of that section, and he's going to be soaring past Core. Unless Core's going to come back at his teammate. I think he is. Oh, but he just has to get the position. Cross gets ahead, and Crossfire is up into 4th position. He moves up into 4th, and now has to start chasing after Lewis. So we'll see. Maybe he's going to be able to try and make the move on the Bentleys here. I think he's the driver to do it. It seems like Court wasn't able to catch up too much time to Lewis and Dazzy, but it looks like Cross might be the driver to do so. But I think this is a good strategy here by Ford. Keep Crossfire in front. He seems to be the driver that is going to be trying to overtake Lewis and Dazzy. And then make sure that Court is right there as well, because Court could get some good points today. So I think they should work together here, make sure they get some good points. They are teammates now, and so they have to make sure that they close up to Lewis and Dazzy and the Bentleys ahead. So, yeah, we'll see. Keep an eye on the Fords as Court goes around almost. He saves it, though. He almost lost the car, showing that these conditions are not improving anytime soon and could be getting worse, actually, as the conditions are very difficult out there right now. Crossfire's now got the gap down to 1.8 seconds. He is flying out there. He's got 3 laps remaining of the Grand Prix, technically 4, actually. So, he's got to start chasing after Lewis now and then overtake him. He had some serious speed out of Curve Grande, so he might be able to try and make the move there again on Lewis. You can see Lewis's car right there. So Cross is gaining the time. He's 1.9 seconds now to Lewis. So he's lost a 10th there to the Bentley driver. So Bentley trying to make sure that they get their drivers both on the podium here. Lewis still trying to get away from Crossfire. And he's actually doing a very good job of it. He is keeping ahead of that Ford driver, making sure that he keeps the gap. But it looks like Cross gained a little bit of time out of turn 6. And why do I not have any gaps? The game decided to not give me any gaps. Am I going to get that back? Hopefully I do. For some reason, I got no gaps. That's really weird. But we will get that in a moment's time, hopefully. Hope there's no glitches. I want to see what the gap is. I think we're just going to have to do this visually, guys. Old-fashioned style here. We're going to see how close Crossfire is. Currently, I think he's around 1.6 seconds. 1.2. I was not far off. So he is gaining a lot of time. He's going to get down into the 9/10ths now. He's going to break into the one... He's actually right close to Lewis. He's very close to the driver there. It's not his Yo-Yo out of the race. What happened here to the Bentley driver? He's in the middle of the track and Blades almost hits the car. Oh dear. Mr. Basil is out as well. Oh, did he hit Yo-Yo? No, did he hit Yo-Yo? I think he did. I think he did. No way. Mr. Basil. I think he hit Yo-Yo there. Yo-Yo's car. Oh, that's just horrible. Absolutely horrible. As Tim's coming up to this as well. This is not good. This could decide the race. Make sure you keep it clean, guys. Make sure you avoid that stricken Toyota, and the Toyota is okay. As that is Crossfire. Crossfire, who is battling away with Lewis. He has spun off of the last couple of corners before we got onto the DRS straight. And that is it for Ford. They have no chance now, unless the Bentleys make a mistake, of getting up onto the podium here in the sprint qualifying. Wow, wow, wow. I cannot believe that has happened. Crossfire was going so well, and unfortunately, he just spun off at the final corner before the DRS straight at turn 6. And that was at the Lesmo. That was at the second Lesmo. I think he's got damage too. Oh, he's got major damage. Big Weir's gonna get past. Gonna put the Bentleys, 3 Bentleys up into the top 5. Walter's gonna probably start gaining time on Crossfire. Crossfire he's gonna come into the pit lane. He has to. He has to come into the pits. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe that's happened. The conditions are very difficult on track, guys. Just this, it's a constant reminder of drivers spinning off that these conditions can be very difficult, and you have to make sure that you come on the power very cautiously in these very difficult conditions, especially here at Monza. I gotta make sure I get some good practice here, because I got a league race coming up here at Monza, and I gotta make sure that I go well. And if it's gonna be raining in that league race, I am probably screwed, because I'm terrible in the rain, especially at this track, since it is a very difficult corner. Because as we have been mentioning pretty much all race long, the turn 2, the turn 6, and I do believe the exit at turn 5 is also another place. It is a very difficult part of the track. But yeah, turn 5 and turn 6, the Lecombs, or sorry, why do I keep calling it Lecombs? That's Belgium. The Lesmos, that's what I was thinking. My goodness. Anyway, yeah, turn 6, that is another corner where drivers spin off. Crossfire did it, unfortunately. Lost that time and is now down to P9. He's going to be starting closer to the grid in the 50% race, but he's only going to be scoring 2 points in this race, which is a little unfortunate, but that's the way it is. All right, so Tim in the Toyota is leading us away. He's led pretty much the entire race, has a 13.3 second gap to Dazzy. It's a massive gap for the Toyota driver. Let's just ride on board with him and make sure he gets it to the end of the race. Now, he'll be starting in P19, P20? I'm not exactly sure. Disqualifications, anyone who's disqualified starts at the back as well, if I'm not mistaken. And anyone who retired in the pit lane will also start at the back. I think that means Kingsholm and Milan as well. I think they both retired in the pits, but I'm not exactly sure. So I think Tim will start P17, and I think Flea will actually start on pole position today. I think Flea will start on pole, if I'm not mistaken. It'll be Flea on pole, it'll be Yo-Yo in P2, and Mr. Basil in P3. That'll be a very awesome starting to the Grand Prix. Super excited for that one. But here comes Tim, round the final corner. He has kept it clean. That's all you need to do in these conditions. As he comes round the final corner, he is going to win the sprint qualifying, as Toyota grab the win here in Italy, the first race in Italy. Tim also grabs 25 points, if I'm not mistaken. And it is also 2 Bentleys on the podium here in the sprint race. Dazzy, number 1 fan, will start down in P16. Lewis will start down in P15, but they'll finish 2nd and 3rd in the sprint race today. So that is the results for the race. Court will finish in P4, Big Weir in P5. Walter is about to come across the line and score P6. Bentley got some really good points today. Congrats to them. Liam for Monster Energy makes it up into the top 10. He finishes P7. Decent points for Monster Energy today. Crossfire, it could have been, what could have been, you know? It's actually, they're having a great battle. It's not over quite yet, as Crossfire is going to finish in P7. Liam will actually finish in P8, so decent points for the both of them. Crossfire may have finished, he could have finished on the podium, I think. Unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be, and I think Nem and Blades will come across the line in P9 and P10, and that'll complete the top 10, and then the rest of the drivers as well will about to come across the line. I think we're just waiting on Cass now. He's coming to the line. He will cross the line now. He serves that 5-second penalty. It shouldn't affect the results either, though. And then here comes the Monster Energy car to complete the sprint qualifying. So congrats to Tim in the Toyota. His debut race, he takes the win, takes pole position in the one-shot qualifying, and he takes the win here in the sprint race. Crossfire Strikes gets the driver of the day. I gotta say, it's driver of the day for him as well. I mean, he really did get kind of in a difficult position. He was coming through the field. He was looking to finish 3rd in a very difficult conditions out on track, and then unfortunately had that spin, but then came back and finished P7. So yeah, it was a pretty solid day for him. He'll look to recover and get a better result in the 50% race, which is just coming up in a bit. So guys, that's the podium celebrations for the sprint race, but don't go away because we have so much more action to come. So Tim wins it here today. He takes the fastest lap as well. He should get 26 points for his achievements here today. He grabs pole and the race victory and the fastest lap here in the sprint qualifying. It is a Bentley 2-3 as Dazzy finishes ahead of Lewis. Congrats to them as well, as they also get a great performance with not just 2 cars on the podiums, but 4 cars in the top 6. The only team to do that this season, if I'm not mistaken. Walter and Big Weir are the 2 other drivers that scored points for the Bentley team. Great result for all the Bentleys. And congrats to Court, Crossfire, Liam, Nem, Blades, as they all scored points as well. And of course, our race winner, Tim, for scoring the max amount of points in this particular section of the race. So that's it, guys. That's going to be it for the sprint qualifying. Now we head into the 50% race, the true race here in Formula 4, as the grid will be reversed. And now we're heading to the loading screen. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with it now, but if you are new, then I will just let you guys know what's going to happen. So the admins are going to be kind of setting the grid. They're going to set the results and then, of course, reverse it kind of thing. So all you need to know is that it will be about a 5-10 minute wait at most, probably around 5 minutes. These guys are usually really quick at doing their job, and I really respect that. So yeah, keep it up, admins. Keep up the great work. So yeah, they'll quickly do that. And just give them some time as they're trying their very best to get the grid sorted. So while we're waiting in the screen, I guess we can talk about a few things, because just aside from LFR, of course, because of course LFR, we have a great race coming up, but there's a few other things coming out in the news as well, and I'm sure everyone that's subscribed to the LFR channel would like to hear about it in the real world. So as of this current date, as of recording this, tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, will be the launch of Haas's 2022 F1 car. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on that. Do you think Haas will have a pretty good season? What do you guys think about that? It was kind of a shock when I woke up this morning. I saw the news that that Haas was going to reveal their car on the 4th, and I was like, whoa, that's quite soon, because usually the teams are doing around the 10th. Red Bull confirmed the 9th for their launch date. So that'll be good, and I thought they were going to be like the first team, but Haas really wanted to be the first team to do it, and you know what? I don't blame them. Start out 2022 strong. Really, do it. Start out 2022 strong. They want to be the first team. They want to be the team that is on like the thumbnails of all the videos and stuff like that, like F1 2022 car launch, and then they put a Haas logo on the Haas car because it's the first car that came out. I might even do that, to be honest, for my my livery video that I'm coming out with once all the liveries are reviewed. Yeah, the Haas livery is coming out tomorrow. I do believe it is at 11:30 British time, if I'm not mistaken. It's like 2 a.m. for me, so I'm not waking up, unfortunately, at 2 o'clock in the morning. I kind of wish I was, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to risk my sleep for waking up to see a car launch. I might just want to wake up and see it all on social media. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on that. That is a very cool thing that's going to be happening very soon. Also, I think we got to talk about the just the upcoming stuff that's happening. IndyCar is about to come into play as well. That's coming in very, very soon. F1's testing is coming in, so lots of motorsport returning. Daytona just happened. What an incredible race that truly was. We're getting ready also for the World Endurance Championship, as we'll be heading to Sebring in some world news about that, if you guys are interested in all that sort of thing, as I mainly covered all that sort of thing on my channel. Peugeot is not going to be at Sebring, which is unfortunate. They'll be missing that one. I think they should be back for the second round, though. We'll get some confirmation on that, but I do believe it'll be Toyota and Glickenhaus for the race, and then the grandfathered LMP1 car, Alpine, are running. So that'll be in there as well. Yeah, that's going to be very exciting. And then in other news, what else can we talk about? I guess if you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. Maybe to do with F1, to do with motorsport in general. maybe just about LFR. You know, we got some great racing happening. If you guys want to check out the Monday and Tuesday streams from this week in those divisions, definitely go check that out. There were some brilliant races. I took a look at both of those ones, and it ended up being a really good race, so it was great to see. So definitely go check those two races out. If you are new to the LFR channel, subscribe as well. Like this video if you are enjoying it. And yeah, as I did mention many different times, send in some comments as well if you guys have any questions, predictions for the Grand Prix. Actually, while we have that moment, let's talk about predictions. Why not? Let's do it. Who do we think is going to win the race? Because since we have a reverse grid, we have a kind of a mix-up in terms of the grid. And who do we think is going to win the race? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. There's a lot of great drivers out there, a lot of drivers that have a good chance of winning this one. And I think, in my opinion, I think I'm going to go Crossfire winning the race since he's starting P7 or he finished P7. He'll be starting further up towards the grid, and he also was flying through the field, and if it wasn't for that spin, he probably would have been P2 or P3, somewhere around there. So yeah, we'll wait and see what happens, but I think Crossfire is going to win this one. I think he's going to go from around 12th position or wherever he starts and go to win the Italian Grand Prix. So we'll find out how that all works out, but it looks like the admins are getting ready to start the Grand Prix, so we'll find out. As it looks like everyone's readying up. You can see the check marks next to their name all going green as we are getting ready for the race here today. And also, if you guys are interested in some of the content I do, I'll let you know on what's going to be happening on that as well. I'm producing content every single Monday. I'll probably stop to take a break at some point, but I'm absolutely loving making content on YouTube. So I want to keep this up. So next Monday, or this coming Monday, there'll be a video on the 2022 predictions for the F1 season. Definitely go check that out. And then after that, I'll be doing a reaction to my 2021 predictions, which is going to be fun. It was a really interesting video to record. And then after that, we're getting back into like what happened stuff, predictions, or not predictions, like what happened, what like history videos, all that sort of thing. And I got an IndyCar video coming up, my first ever IndyCar video. That's going to be releasing on February 21st, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely go check that one out. That was a very awesome video, and it's on a particular driver that I really want to see do well. So anyway, enough of all that sort of thing. Let's get back into the race. We're ready to get the racing underway. The drivers are going into the race, and we're just waiting for them to all line up on the grid. I'm praying for no rain. Hopefully no rain. Sunny skies, please. And it's rain. Oh, dear goodness. It is rain. Okay. Not the worst situation, but it is rain once again here in Italy. We're getting a lot of rain here in Milano. So what can we say about this? Well, it looks to be a little bit lighter conditions out on track, so that's good. It looks like maybe the rain was this is kind of cool because the sprint race just happened, so the rain's continuing. Maybe it will start going away, because it seemed like in that sprint race we were starting to see the rain starting to go away, and it looks like it's very light out there, so maybe we'll get the rain starting to go away, and towards the end of the Grand Prix, middle end towards then, we'll be seeing some dry compound tires coming into play. So let's see how this all works out. We're going to get the formation lap underway in just a moment's time, and then we're going to get the race underway. All right, so it is Milan Massimo on pole position for today's race. It looks like Kingsholm and Massimo, when they retired, it looks like it wasn't in the pit lane, but they'll be starting P1 and P2. So let's do the rundown on the grid before we get into the race. Milan Massimo is on pole position for Porsche, and he'll start on pole position with Kingsholm alongside him on the first row of the grid. Flea in the Porsches lining up P3, with Yo-Yo in Toyota's car starting P4. Mr. Basil is P5 alongside Shug's Life. On the third row, the grid boosted, and Snooker from Monster Energy starting P7 and P8, with Cass and Blades starting P9 and P10 on the fifth row of the grid. All on the intermediate compound, by the way. Everyone is on the intermediates. Nem in P11 with Liam in P12. Crossfire's P13, Walter in P14, Big Weir in P15, Court in P16, Lewis in P17, Daisy number 1 fan in P18, and the two Toyotas, Tim in P19, and Brad rounding off the grid since he was disqualified. And I did read a few of your comments, guys. I know it's a little bit late. I wasn't able to read all of them in time, but I saw a few comments that came in, one of which, one of our fans for Court, it says, let's go Court. Definitely, yeah. Let's go Court. You know, I mean, he's having a great race. Let's see if he can get a good one here today. In 50% race, he's starting P16. I really want to see him do well. So definitely, let's go Court. Hopefully, he gets a good race here today, and he can impress all his fans that are watching right now. We have a few Court fans in the live stream. So anyway, we have Milan Massimo on pole position for today's race. We're ready to get the racing underway as the formation lap is about to end. Everyone looking to get a good race. I hope for an amazing race for all these drivers here today. And all we have to make sure is that we get a good start and a clean one down to turn 1. And these drivers, now that they have some practice at turn 1, they know where to brake, especially in these conditions. So they may, we probably won't see too many cars off the track. We'll find out, especially with some cold tires. So it looks like the grid is set. The formation lap is ended. We're ready to get the 27 laps underway here for the Italian Grand Prix at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza circuit here in Milano, Italia. As we are ready to go, as I'm Formula Jonah, your commentator for today, your host of today's race. For the commentary as we get the racing underway, hopefully no glitching. It says Flea has a 2.3 second gap to Kingsholm. Oh no, I hope no glitch has happened. All the drivers are waiting on the grid, was waiting for those 5 red lights to go out. Sometimes we get glitches in this game. Rain's still pouring down, these tires are getting very cold. So whatever happens, it's not going to be the best situation. But it does say it's lap 1 and the race has still not got underway. What is going on? We'll wait a few more seconds until the admins give, figure out what's going exactly wrong. They'll either say, just wait a few more minutes until the 5 red lights go out, or restart the lobby, which both of them are definitely a possibility. So we'll just wait a moment. I'm not exactly sure what has caused this. I didn't see any driver leaving or joining mid-formation lap. Sometimes if you join during the formation lap, it can glitch the lobby. But I didn't see any of that. Unless the driver left the session. Maybe that somehow glitched it, but I don't think that's the case. So we're just waiting on board with Flea to see what's going to happen. Oh, it looks like Kingsholm's left the session. He's got a red X next to his name. Has anyone else left the session? Doesn't look like it. What's going on? Migrating host. It looks like one of our drivers is leaving. It might be Kingsholm.